Hi, this is Sandy, and in this video I just wanted to touch base on something that I have been reading about in different comments on different blogs regarding what people feel is a scam. And I did another video on mystery shopping because it's one of those companies that people just do not understand that although you're working for a mystery shopping company and say they're only paying you $20 plus maybe a product or a meal wherever you're working, you are self-employed. You do have to pay taxes when you reach a certain target. So just like mystery shopping, I did a press release yesterday on another company, and this was where I read and people were telling them, no, you're wrong and you need to understand what you're doing. So this Unique Rewards company requires you to give them your social security number after you reach a certain amount. Some companies are $300 a year, some companies are $500 a year, but they're going to ask you for your social security number, not to scam you, not to do anything like that. They have to, by law, Uncle Sam wants his money. So what happens is when you make a certain amount, which you should be paying taxes on anyway, a percentage of that has to get paid into Uncle Sam. So what you need to do is you need to keep a folder, an envelope, whatever you have to do to keep track of your earnings so that at the end of the year you can give your accountant or your tax person your receipts so that if you can write some of the things off, like your miles, if you have to drive somewhere, if you have to pay a percentage for being self-employed and you use your internet, there's a percentage of everything that you have to write off, or that you can write off, I should say. A lot of times the IRS, if you claim an office at home, it must be a separate office, not a bedroom with a desktop computer. It has to be a separate room. But if you have a good accountant, they can explain that to you. So in this press release that I am doing today, I just wanted to share a few of the books that are in here because I think that if you don't understand working for yourself, then maybe you should educate yourself on what your responsibilities are when you have to pay taxes. So again, I'm focusing on what's not a scam. Now don't get me wrong, there are hundreds of thousands of scams on the internet, but when you're working for certain companies, it is not a scam for them to ask and shut you down when you don't want to provide what they're asking you for because they have to legally do it. So what you can do is, here's a few books. This one is for, hey, if you're self-employed individuals or you work the sales consultant or home party businesses, this is an organizer. She's probably in the business herself and she understands everything that she can write off. If she gives her hostess gifts, you can keep the receipt and write those off. If you drive to somebody's house, then you keep a logbook and you write the miles off. And at the end of the year, you get to keep a percentage regarding whatever your accountant says. Now, the standard rule is, and it does go by your annual salary, 33% should be put aside. So an example would be is if you earned $1,000, $300 should get put aside for taxes. Now, that doesn't mean that all that $300 won't come back to you in some way or another. It depends on how much you earn. But you have to keep track of everything, and the higher you earn, the more you're going to have to pay into it. So people are shocked when they find out that they have to pay at the end of the year. Well, just because you're self-employed doesn't mean you don't have to pay taxes like everybody else. And the state's going to come out of there, the federal's going to come out of there, your Social Security is going to come out of there. So you have to keep a separate savings account so that you don't get hit at the end of the year having to pay. So, if you don't understand a lot of the tax laws, I suggest that you read a few books. I will have these inside this press release so that you can see what you can deduct and your tax breaks. There's a few with loopholes in tax write-offs for home-based businesses, and write it off and deduct it. So there's an A to Z guide. So, you know, I sell PlexiSlim. I do a lot of events. So if I go to these events and I'm paying for a booth space, then of course I keep track of that and I write it off at the end of the year. That's an expense for my business. So you need to keep track of everything that you're doing. I am on IBO Toolbox, and with IBO, I purchase credits and I get involved, and that's considered advertising. So I write off what it is that I'm spending. So I just wanted to share this with you regarding another thing regarding what's a scam and what's not a scam. If you're doing any of these things and you get to $295, now don't mark my words on this, because some might be $200. Some companies may require it after $100, but they're asking you for your social security number or your business tax ID number because you need to pay taxes on what you're earning. So I hope that this kind of clears up another mystery about what's a scam, what's not a scam, and why they want your personal information, because by law you are working for yourself and you have to pay it. Okay, so I hope this helps. Click on the press release. You can get some books here, and if you have any comments, which I'm sure nobody wants to pay Uncle Sam, but you can leave them below. Okay, thanks and have a good afternoon.